Well, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel if you are regularly subscribed here, and welcome if you're new and watching one of my videos for the first time. If you have been following along with my channel, you know that I recently got engaged. My left hand is not looking the best manicured today, but I got this whole wedding process to worry about how perfect I look on a daily basis, so I'm not going to worry too much about it today. But yeah, I recently got engaged to my longtime partner, and we have not started the wedding process or the wedding planning process just yet. We got engaged mid-January, and I think we're gonna just kind of celebrate being engaged for a little bit before we jump into the madness that is wedding planning in 2022. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to keep a cool head about it. However, I did want to make sure that I got my hands on a wedding planner, a wedding planning notebook, if you will. And I had my eye on the Bloom Daily Planners version of a wedding planner for a while, and I didn't love the interior of the original ones. All of them were like a bright pink, and I'm just not a very pink person. I was super obsessed with like princesses and pink when I was a little kid, and then I don't know what happened. I hit puberty and like I just don't love pink anymore. So I was very excited when I found out that this version existed. I was looking for YouTube videos reviewing the Bloom Daily Planners, and of course all of the ones that had been reviewed were the ones with the pink interior. And then in my targeted ads, I noticed this one popped up, and I'm like, I haven't seen that one before. So I don't know if this is new. I think it is because it wasn't there a few weeks prior when I was looking, but I just really love this layout. I love the cover, I love the botanicals, and I feel like this really matches the color scheme that I might use for our wedding. So kind of green and gold and all of that. The quote, not my favorite, planning our forever. I'm kind of the mentality that the marriage is the forever, not the wedding day, but that's okay. I would have preferred if it just said our wedding, like all of the other wedding planners, but I'm picky, so it's fine. The important part is that we're going to go through this process together. So this is a massive book. This is like an 8.5 by 11 page just for the one page. So it's kind of hard to show you on camera with my current equipment, but we're going to try our best to do that. So it does have these nice gold corners to protect the edges. It has a lovely gold coil. I, of course, like gold metallics. I feel so bad about how my hands look right now. I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to like gesture with my right hand. Yeah, so it's gold foiled, and I really enjoy that. They also have versions that are silver if that's more your vibe, but for me, I really love yellow gold. So you open it up, and I'm going to do my best to show you all the details of this while still fitting this on my desk. We'll see how this goes. This lovely botanical inner cover. It's got a pocket right here for you to put things in. And then I really love this dark green. I don't know much about what I'm doing with our wedding, or what we're doing with our wedding, I should say. Honestly, for me, as the bride, I feel kind of stressed about wedding planning. I am not one of those people who has been dreaming exactly of what my wedding day is going to be. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation with my fiance about what we want the wedding day to be, because I feel like I have several visions of what it could possibly be, which is good. I'm flexible. But I'm very careful with generalizations about women. Like every single woman has like thought through their whole wedding day since the time they were 5 years old, and that's just not me. So I'm just being honest about that. This is our wedding. It says this planner belongs to. You can write in your wedding date, your wedding hashtag. We are so not there yet. But I like this part that says describe your dream wedding day in the space below. So that will be nice to do together. It has a letter explaining their thought process with putting this book together, which I really like. You can get more free printables and downloads from their website, which is awesome. And then there is like a table of contents, which is really helpful. So the main sections in this are Our vision, so that's like the preliminary planning, which I love. The basics, guest planning, vendor planning, monthly planning, the big day, and wedding memories. So we'll go through each of these sections together. I really love this section here because it's kind of like focusing in on what's really important about how you got here and what you're working towards. It has a description or a section to describe your love story and how you met and all of those things, as well as the engagement story. So you can put photos in here. That's fantastic. This is a little crooked, so sorry about that. So yeah, I really like that this wedding planner has this section to kind of remind you why you're doing this in the first place. So some fun things to look back on when I get stressed out. Some things to talk about with dreaming of the big day. I imagine sitting down with my fiance and filling out some of these. And then it gets into the first section, which is called Our Vision. So it says, create your own mini vision boards for each category of your wedding and refer back to them as you sit down with various vendors. So this is all of like what ideally would be like out of the day. And these tabs, this paper is just slightly thicker. No, I think the divider pages are pretty much the same thickness as the rest of the paper, but these tabs are laminated, so that's good. I love the quotes and the florals and the script. That's my vibe. I like florals, I like script. I just don't like pink, so I'm glad that they have like this forest green color. This section is all about vision boarding, so I don't really do vision boards in my everyday life, but for this, I think it can be helpful. So it says describe your wedding day vision in 3 words. So this is for the overall vision. And then you could either write here, you could like post pictures maybe, I'm not sure. One thing, I forget where this comes from. It might come from Jamie Wolfer here on YouTube. One suggestion I have heard is to have you and whoever you're marrying, both of you write down independently what you want out of the day, and then you compare answers. So that way you're not influencing each other right off the bat. You're being honest about what you actually want out of your wedding day. So there's a vision board for the overall vision, the ceremony, the reception, and for each one it says describe your ideal ceremony in 3 words, and then I imagine you would fill out the rest of the page with magazine clippings or other photos or drawings. I feel like my fiance would want to draw something. Our attire. I like that this one's kind of like gender neutral, so it doesn't matter if it's a bride and a groom or a bride and a bride or a groom and a groom. So describe your dream attire. The wedding party attire, the flowers, and then what else do we have here? Hair and makeup, and then photography. And then it looks like you got a few more pages in case you have other categories. So they give some examples of like the cake, the decor, the signs. So you have 3 extra pages for that. So that's the Our Vision section. That's where you're just kind of daydreaming. Then we have the basics. So it says that this is all the important details in one place. We got some wedding planning advice. I like that. We got some descriptions of both wedding parties. This part is a little bit more gender specific. I suppose you could white it out if it doesn't apply to you. That is one thing that I think is missing from the wedding planner world is inclusion of non-hetero couples. I am in a hetero relationship, but I imagine for people who aren't, it might be a little difficult to find products relevant to you. So yeah, both wedding parties. This is a timeline and checklist. I am going to cross-reference this with YouTuber Jamie Wolfer's timeline. I'm going to probably sign up for her website and get a timeline from her. I don't think I need to be like sending save the dates 11 to 10 months prior. I always heard it was like 6 months, and I suppose that's different if you're having like a destination wedding, but we probably are not doing that. So yeah, this timeline and checklist is for 12 months prior. I do agree that like drawing up a budget and compiling a guest list, probably the top 2 things that you need to do first. But then there's also notes for things that you might move around. And then this breaks it down even more the closer you get to the wedding. Honeymoon planning, which quite frankly I am the most excited about because I love planning trips, I love traveling. So we have that pretty early on. kind of the carrot at the end of the stick to keep me planning the wedding, I think. I am excited to have a wedding, and I'm so excited to get married to my fiance. Getting married is like my top priority out of the whole experience, but we've also been through a pandemic, so it's a little, wedding planning's a little weird right now. It still is. Then we have a budget tracker. Love this. I am all about budgeting if you have been subscribed here, so I like all of the sections to write these things down. I think my fiance is going to be really excited about the spreadsheet. He's been talking about spreadsheets already, so he might prefer to make his own because he likes to customize things on his own, but they have an editable spreadsheet option that you can download from their website. This also just helps me to know, like, what am I missing? Because, like, especially if I look at more all-inclusive or more inclusive venues, like, what are they not providing that I still need to budget for? Some tips on tipping, which is very important, at least for American weddings. And then we get into the guest planning section. So it says all of your guest information in one easy to reference location. So I like this worksheet here. I like that this book includes a lot of worksheets where you can kind of draft ideas or draft preliminary things before just writing down the final one. Because the other wedding planners I looked at, it felt like there was just one and you better not mess it up and you better do it on scratch paper first. So I like that they give you space for the worksheets and then for like the final counts. So it asks you to write how much your venue holds and then how many people you might be inviting. And then finally down here, it's total guests invited and total guests coming. Yay! There's a ton of pages to mark all your guests. So their name, their address, the number invited, the number coming. I don't know that I entirely love this just because, like, I'm not going to rewrite the address for, like, if multiple people live in the same house, but I could just write quote marks in the space and call it good. And then any notes such as dietary restrictions or other things like that, what table number you're putting them at, and then gifts, and then did you send them a thank you note? That's what I'm interpreting. I'm not sure if the envelope means for the invite or for the thank you note afterwards. Not sure. But you got a bunch of these. I don't think we're going to have like a massive wedding. And sorry, the squeaking might be a little annoying. To me, like 50 to 75 people is still a pretty big event, but we shall see. But there are 6 pages of that in case you're having like a 200, 300 person wedding. And then there's an engagement and shower gift tracker. So I don't know how many like pre-wedding gifts we're really going to get or how many pre-wedding events we're really going to have, but this would be a good place to keep track of that. And then we have seating arrangements. So it has like spaces for each table, and then you would, I guess, draw circles and or squares and put them into their tables. I love this. You have a seating diagram draft, so you can draft it here. And then you can have the final seating diagram. So that will be helpful to, whoops, hit my tripod, to kind of draft it out and then to put it down in final form here. Then we have vendor planning, so all of your vendor contact information as well as materials to help you walk through planning. This section I love, mainly because it has this vendor pros and cons, these worksheets. I think these are great because this is where I'm at and I need to figure out who do I have as an option and how do I like vet them, right? I don't just need a section to write down my contact information or their contact information. I need to figure out like who is the best person for this job in my budget. So you can write down the vendor, the category of vendor, their website, phone, email, all that stuff, the price and payment info, and then you can do pros and cons. Love a good pros and cons list, y'all. Love it. And I love that that is included here. So you get like 4 sheets of that. That is so wonderful. And then finally you get the actual contact forms. So, you know, who they are, how you would contact them, and then notes about them. So that's awesome. You would write those in as you actually finalize your vendors for the ceremony, reception, photographer, videographer, stationery, if you're having a stationer, florist, planner, DJ, caterer, beverages. Oh, and then they have little like asterisks pointing you to specific pages because there's page numbers that you can get more information about each of these things. Your dress, the suit, the hair, the makeup. There's so many things. Cake, rentals, transportation, hotel, and then the efficient, and then they have some blank spaces for you to fill in. They also have this helpful list of important questions to ask before you book someplace. So you can look at those, and then there's a notes page. Questions to ask your photographer and videographer. And then the photography must have shots. I don't know if I'm the only person that feels this way, but I feel like this like getting ready section is way too much. I don't personally care so much about getting ready photos. Maybe it's because I used to be a journalist. I care more about like the actions happening at the ceremony and reception. So I would probably cut down the amount of getting ready photos. I think it's a little odd, to me at least, that this is like the longest part of the list, but that's just me. I'm more focused on like getting good candid action shots at my ceremony or reception. So that's the type of photographer I'm probably going to look for. That's something to talk about with my partner too, though, just to make sure we're on the same page, or that he's getting what he wants out of the photography as well. And then videography, I'm not 100% sure if we're doing a videographer. I would love to, but we'll have to see. And then I always love the notes pages in here as well. Notes for all of your music. I have some songs that I care about, but my fiance is really the musician, so I might leave a lot of this up to him. Must play, do not play. I don't think there's any songs I would outright ban from the wedding. And then we have meal planning, so I love that you have ideas. You can draft ideas here, and then there's a separate section for what you actually picked. I love that. And then, of course, a notes page. More notes pages. And then we get into the monthly planning section. So I'm not going to flip through every page in here because it's 18 months of the same stuff. So you get a monthly view, a notes page, and a to-do list for 18 months. So we have the wedding events overview. I'm not sure how many of these different things we're going to have. I mean, this section, I would say this section is probably going to happen. The engagement party and bridal shower, who knows? That's up to other people, I believe. And then it just gets into the monthly sections. So you have a calendar page, you can write in or put a sticker in for what month you're on, and then they have some sort of quote. I don't love all the quotes in here, but I do like that the first one is from When Harry Met Sally. I do love that movie. Then you get a column over here for notes, ideas, and to-dos, and a little box for monthly gratitude, so you kind of stay grounded during the wedding planning process. I'm gonna move that down just a little bit so you can see the lovely floral pattern at the top. And then there's just 18 months of that same spread. There's a different quote at each monthly spread. And then you get a notes page and a to-do list page. Love this setup so much for a monthly planner. So then you just flip and it repeats for 18 months. I also love the quote from Elton John on this particular monthly page. I love that song. It's a very cute song. Also like his first big hit. So you get 18 months of those. Like I said, it ends with a notes page, and then we move on to the section called the big day, which says it is everything you need to stay stress-free the day of your wedding. Gosh, I hope so. I guess it's because I'm an introvert. Like, the idea of a big day, it's a little stressful to me. I want to have it, and I would love to celebrate with everybody, especially my fiance. But event planning, not my thing. So we have a day of timeline and checklist. And then I like how it includes this section for you to say, how are you feeling today? And then post-wedding, it has a checklist for you as well. We have a section for all of the people participating in the ceremony, the order of the ceremony, which I'll probably just follow this one, honestly, unless we want to do anything unique. Vows. So it looks like this is a space to draft your vows. I don't know if I would do that if we're sharing this book. I'm not sure, but there's one place to draft it. And then they have a sample day of itinerary, which is very helpful because I'm like, I don't know, if my ceremony is at 4:30, according to this one, what time do I need to get up in the morning? It turns out I can just get up at the regular time that I get up every morning if I have a 4:30 ceremony. So that's kind of helpful to know. And then it has a space for you to write in your own day of itinerary. So things happening before the ceremony, things happening during the ceremony, during the cocktail hour, the reception, after the reception, and then the day after. And then, love this too, it has a name change checklist. So if you are changing your name, you know where to start. And I think both of us might be changing our names, but more on that later. And then finally, we have wedding memories. So it says, use this section to record your favorite memories throughout your engagement. Feel free to add photos instead of text. I like that suggestion. Some people don't love writing, but they like to put in visuals. And I teach writing for a living, so I like the suggestion. I always talk to my students about, like, at least with pre-writing or drafting, like figuring out ways other than writing to like get your ideas out. So again, we have another section about our engagement. I love this section. It says, I figured it out when, because I had an idea. I was getting proposed to. The wedding shower, if we end up having one, or if someone wants to have one for us. The bachelorette party. The planning process. The rehearsal dinner. The morning of the ceremony. I was relieved when, oh dear, what happened there? The reception and the honeymoon. And then I think that's where we're going to end. Oh, and then it gives you a section to reflect on the big day, kind of similar to what you did at the beginning of this whole planning process. Yeah, so that's lovely. And then has this quote from Wuthering Heights. I see this quote a lot. Again, I teach writing, so I have degrees in English. I've read Wuthering Heights. I wouldn't say the relationship this is referring to is a healthy one, but you know, it's a nice idea, but it's kind of, if you've read the book, you know, or is there a movie? I'm not sure. Anyway, then you get a pocket folder here and a pocket folder here. I'm not sure if a piece of paper is really gonna fit, but if you have things like postcards or business cards, those would fit. Let me see if I have a full sheet of paper. One moment. I had to find a piece of paper that didn't have anything on it, and everything I have has like identifying information. So if you just have like one sheet of paper, it kind of fits. Let's see, is this tucked in all the way? So you kind of can get a full piece of paper in there, but it's a little awkward. Let's see if the other side works better. I feel like this one works a little better. It's just kind of hard to get it all the way in there. So if you have a full letter size sheet of paper, it might be a little tricky. I do think I'm going to start some sort of binder independent of this, just to hold actual documents. I'm not expecting this to be like my carry-all for all that type of stuff. Anyway, the back is also gold foiled and has that lovely botanical pattern. And that is the planner. I hope it showed up well on camera. Sorry if anything was cut off. If you have any questions about this planner, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you're currently planning a wedding or if you're about to embark on that journey. Like I said, we're not quite planning just yet, but we are thinking about things and we will be starting that whole process relatively soon. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will check out some of my videos before this one. I uploaded a haul in January, or from January, with this wedding planner and some other things I purchased around my engagement. So check that out if you're interested in some things that I bought around my proposal. And if you like planner videos, you're in the right place because I film those all the time. So I hope you will subscribe and stick around and check out some other videos. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you in my next one. Goodbye.